we have known for some time that collaboration is important. And there is research out there by social scientists trying to find out which are the preconditions for collaboration. And so this author team, me, Paz, Arroyo, and Glenbar, we had been doing work on rhetoric in connection to design earlier. And as we know, rhetoric emerged from the need to speak in a court of law. And then speech started to be the unit of analysis in rhetoric. And it was an innovative discipline, and much of what was developed in antiquity is still used. And somehow when thinking about this, we stumbled on the hole to which speeches are feeding, namely legal proceedings. And we came to think that actually it is about collaboration. Collaboration to find the truth for fair judgment. It's a bit odd collaboration because it is competitive. There are different views competing with each other. However, there was also much innovation, so much that actually as legal proceedings are now, they are, I cannot have any percentage, but to a great extent similar to what they were in antiquity. And for example, still the Supreme Court of the US requires the cases to be presented in almost the same way as in antiquity. But as is the case with other innovations from antiquity, geometry or rhetoric, so we do not appreciate these innovations because we think that the innovations are current or just recent. And also the lawyers are not so much interested in legal proceedings. They are interested in laws and so on. So there hasn't been any discipline of legal proceedings. However, it was relatively easy to find what was developed already in antiquity regarding legal proceedings to ensure collaboration. So we found 7 principles here. First, and it's well known here, both sides. It's a fundamental idea of fairness, accommodating the proceedings that all sides have the same opportunity to present and respond. Secondly, reasoned judgment and fact-finding. And here the idea is especially that the reasons for a judgment and its factual grounds are written, recorded. And there's a legal term, ratio decidendi, and again, this started already in ancient Rome. Right to appeal, to prevent, to correct bad judgment mistakes, but this is also proactive because judges do not like if higher courts overrule their decisions. Legal reasoning being not only logical or rhetorical, and this has been always the case. Just until recently there was the view that legal reasoning is just logical, but no, it has always been rhetorical, referring not only to logic but to ethos and pathos as the phrases in rhetoric are. Fifthly, public nature of proceedings. And court sessions were public already in ancient Greece and Rome. And this has impacts. One cannot say anything that is publicly known to be incorrect, and every party is publicly accountable. Sixth, standardized procedures. And this applies both to procedures, that is in which order things are handled, but also the contents of documents and presentations. And this is helpful. Every party knows what can be expected in each stage, what can be expected in each part of a document, and this created and creates certainty and order. Seventh, already in antiquity there were dedicated places for courts, court buildings, and a dedicated venue emphasizes the authority but also is focusing attention to the matters being handled. And now the idea came that actually designing is, after all, rather similar to what is happening in a court of law. Namely, there is competition. There are different wishes, there are different solution concepts, there are different embodied solutions which are competing against each other. Different disciplines are competing for influence and so on, and for reaching the best outcome from the viewpoint of the client. Each wish, concept and solution needs to be promoted and defended in the best possible way, and a reasoned judgment has to be made. So we came to the hypothesis that these principles could be used also in design for creating collaboration. So we tested this through a case study with an advanced practice of lean construction, whether what is done there resonate with those lean principles. This was a case study done in retrospective for a large, complex campus project, and we collected evidence of the application of legal proceedings principles in one portion of the project where advanced lean design was implemented. It was not implemented from the beginning. And the benefits of using lean were assessed too. So this is a large, complex project in Silicon Valley. Some might recognize it, but we are not directly saying what it is about. And the lean methods implemented target value design first. Secondly, decision-making process consisting of set-based design, choosing by advantages and A trees, and last planning system being used for creating flow. So, how or whether principles of legal proceedings were implemented. Here both sides. All stakeholders were invited to each meeting where design decisions were made. If somebody could not be present, somebody relevant for the decision, the meeting was rescheduled. Recent judgment and fact-finding. So the method of choosing by advantages was used to evaluate, and it is reasoned judgment, certainly. And facts are documented already in choosing by advantages. On the other hand, if there was more complex problem solving, so there was an A3 report with account how the solution was come to. So pretty much compliance with this principle. Right to appeal. Anybody could appeal a decision and come with new information. Principle complied with. Not only logical but also rhetorical reasoning. Also already earlier it has been shown that in CBA all rhetorical reasoning types are being used, logos, ethos and pathos. Public nature of proceedings. All records were public to the design team, not globally public, but to the design team, which counts here. Everybody could look at the A3 files, which told how a specific solution had been created. Standardized procedures, and this was one of the main points of lean design implementation. There was a standard to process an issue in design, so it should be documented in an A3. The set-based design was used when needed, and CBA was used when decision was complex and required multiple criteria. Again, principle complied with. Dedicated and structured space. So this was rather with a rather distributed design team, but there was 1 week per month big room, and in the remaining weeks there was a virtual collocation. Again, good compliance. There were savings, 11% of the original design budget. Increased efficiency in design process was measured, and the time taken to make a decision was a proxy for that, and the owner could validate and approve these results. So we can interpret these lean methods also so that they are implementing principles for legal proceedings. It's not, of course, not possible to trace back all the benefits to those legal proceedings, but there's a strong indirect evidence, and also that these legal principles are there, show that people have independently found that they are practical and usable. So what next? So we have explicit principles, 7 explicit principles, and we can do descriptive research, how they are realized in advanced lean practice. We can do prescriptive research, how they possibly could be implemented in a better way than at the moment. And that closes my presentation. Thank you.